This video I'm going to give you some advice and what kind of equipment and tools you'll need to reload obsolete cartridges. A lot of us that like to collect these old surplus guns, you run across some where ammunition is not available. Okay, so you either have to reload your own ammo, which some of it is available, PPU. A lot of stuff that was unavailable for years, like the 6.5 Carcano, the 7.35 Carcano, the two Carcanos they make. They make 8mm Lebel, which I think was out of production for a while. And just about all the other, the 1900s, turn of the century calibers, even 7.7 Jap, 6.5 Japanese. Norma was the only place that made that brass for years. A lot of these obsolete cartridges. But now, if you get into the realm of even older, more obsolete cartridges, say, what I'm working on right now is what they call the 41 Swiss. We convert the rifles from rimfire to centerfire. Now we have to, from scratch, make the cartridges. Nobody makes a centerfire cartridge for this project, so it's something you gotta do. It's not that difficult. It's probably one of the easier ones to make, but some of the others would be 43 Dutch Beaumont, which I'm going to work on, 6.5 Dutch, which is not that difficult. Then there's the Kropacek or Kropacek rifles. You have to kind of make that brass up special. The Gras I'm going to work on eventually. And you can get like 43 Spanish already made, and a lot of these cartridges you can get made from Bertram, but the cost, like 6.5 Dutch, it's like $65 for 20 cases. The Gras is also astronomical. It's up there $80, $90 for 20 cases. Bertram does make a lot of these odd cases, but they're quite expensive, and there has been questions of their quality control. The brass doesn't last last as long. And it's kind of cost prohibitive. But if you go the other route, like I said, like we're talking now, the Swiss cartridge, that's not too difficult, but we are going to have to make it up. So if you're interested in that and want to do it, you can buy the cases, and like I said, it's extremely expensive. You can buy the reloading dies, and the more odd they are, the more expensive they are. Fortunately, Lee does make a set of dies for the 41 Swiss, so actually it's not that cost prohibitive to do it. But in general, if you're interested in that and want to go that route, a lot of people, they always ask me questions where you get your information from, everything else. Well, if you go online and look up these different guns in the different forums, there are some people that know what they're doing, and they'll list like overall lengths, case sizes, how they do it. Some people will give a detailed description. Some people will give a very generalized description, and you really can't make head or tail out of what they're saying. And some of it's just plain nonsense. It makes no sense at all. So if you're really interested in doing this as a hobby, it's kind of more advanced reloading, the custom, more or less custom reloading, where you're fabricating your cases out of something else. And a lot of the videos on YouTube, they're quick, they're fast. The guy tells you how to do it. He uses a bunch of different cases to size up the brass and do it. And, it's okay, but I like to do a lot more research. I like to be more sure, and I like to be more informed about what I'm doing, and not really going the inexpensive, quick, easy route. So that's why I'm going to make a series of videos, and please watch these. Watch this. This is the introduction to the whole generalized thing. I'm going to list what tools you should start to accumulate, and what you would need to get started. The one thing is, a lot of people will send me emails and ask me these questions. If you're going to do this, there's 2 books you need to know. And the reason you should have these books is a lot of the information is printed in these books. Okay, this one here is a good one. The Hand Loader's Manual of Cartridge Conversions by John J. Donnelly. Now this fellow does, I guess as a business or something, he, the first few things of the book tells you about tools and stuff and things to do and techniques to build up rims and that, and it's well worth having this. This is pretty advanced stuff. Also, when you get into some of the more complex conversions, you're going to need some sort of mini lathe or bench lathe. Eventually I'm going to have to get a lathe, or try to use one at work. But this book's good. It has, tools and information. It lists the cartridges, and it gives you dimensions and what he's, it gives you dimensions in a drawing. It gives you that information, and it tells you like what he uses a base cartridge to make this cartridge, and gives you a general idea on what to do. It's well worth, what I paid for it, $40 or $50 or something. A lot of information, a lot of good technical information. Now another book you should also get is Cartridges of the World. Okay? The reason is this list of cartridges and what is in here, not only description, but in the back there's a table that gives you case length, overall length, and other information that you would need to reload or make these cartridges. And when I do the 41 Swiss, the only thing you have to watch out is some of the information does conflict, the measurements and stuff. So again, you're kind of going into a realm where you're on your own. There's no defined things. There's all kinds of different techniques. And when I do the 41 Swiss, I'll do a general one, how we developed and how we picked the bullet, the case we're going to go from, to how we're going to do it, and then eventually reloading it. So there'll be a series of 3 videos on one cartridge. But I strongly suggest you get those 2 books. Okay, and a lot of your questions on case length and everything, because these guys that post it on the forums, all they do is look it up in this book and then act like they got this hidden information. If you're really into it, it's worth the money to get the books. Educate yourself, have the reference and the knowledge. Another thing, whenever you do this, you take notes. Get a notebook. Start, you put the case up. You get your dimensions, overall length, bullet diameter, case length. Make notes how you went about it, because I'm real bad about that. I'll do something, make a video, I'll jot some stuff down on a piece of paper or on a target and lose it. And then people ask me questions, specific questions, because they run into a little technical problem and I can't answer because right off the top of my head or whatever, I don't have it all memorized from memory. So having notes helps yourself, helps others. Okay, so now we're going to go over some of the basic tools you need, and I'll go out in the garage, show you what I got. And some of the stuff you can either buy it new or go to gun shows, flea markets, swap meets at gun clubs. My gun club has them. I picked up a powder measure in real nice shape, got it fairly reasonable, other than buying another one for like $90, $100. You can go to gun shows, guys will have used reloading equipment, flea markets, swap meets, and you can accumulate these different things. And we'll kind of go over basic things. I'll give you a generalized idea of what you should start accumulating if you're going to get into this. Alright, some of the basic tools you're going to need: 6-inch calipers, I'd say is a must. Micrometers, they're good to have but not necessary. 6-inch dial calipers will cover all your measuring needs, a good set. Since we're going to be working with cases, trimming and that, you're going to need deburr tools. I like these hand ones. That's the standard one. Then like for my 50-70 and that, they make a larger one. This one's a specialized larger model for like a 50 caliber. Also a primer flash hole deburr. You may have to enlarge the flash holes in the cases for that, and you need something to deburr it, and Lyman makes a tool for that. Then a good case lubricant. This Imperial wax is pretty good stuff. A lot of people like it. I found some at a shop and got it, and it works well, and we'll go over that. You can use Hornady one shot, whatever you're comfortable with. There was another type that I had in a bottle, but this stuff here is easier to apply, and so a good case lube. Now we're going to be trimming a lot of cases, so you're going to have some sort of a case trimmer. And I have 2 Lymans here, and like I said, you pick up extra ones at the flea market or whatever, or somebody ended up giving me one of these. And this one's the one set up just normally with the handle. And this one I cut off and turned, and I put an electric drill on there, and then make it a power feed, and then use it to trim off larger lengths. You can do that, which is kind of a pain. You're also going to need your collets, you know, assembly of them. RCBS makes a different style case trimmer, which could be used, but you're going to need some sort of a case trimmer. Now, some of these cases you have to cut off like a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch more. You can use either a Dremel tool, or I went to Harbor Freight and got this little tube cutter chop saw, and I'll show you when we cut some cases how we use this. A lot of the guys making the 300 Blackout have this set up with a special little fixture to cut the 223 cases right to length. So there's videos on YouTube about this. This is a nice little thing to have. I think I got the last one from the Harbor Freight that I had, but that is another item maybe you should think about. Then there will be custom reloading tools. This here is a set of custom bullet molds, because the bullet I wanted for the 1 caliber is an odd size and an odd shape. So custom bullet molds may be something you're going to be looking into. And with that, you'll probably have to get custom sizing dies. Now here's the Lyman sizer. You can go to Buffalo Arms and that, and they actually had the die made in that odd diameter, which is 434 thousandths. They cost a little more than the standard ones, but I had the right thing, and I set it up in this Lyman lubricizer. You can go to Lee and have them make you the custom set of dies, which I had this one. This is a custom set here, or the custom sizing die. Hold on a second, let me get that out. Alright, this here is 334 thousandths. This is a custom die, sizing die I had made. You have to order them from Lee. They'll make them. You call them up, talk to them, tell them what diameter you want. I got these made up when working with the 8x56 and 8x50. I like tweaking the cast bullets a little bit bigger than the groove diameter, and I had these dies made, but I had them made a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, and it took 6 months or so before I got them. And when I went to the website recently, they said that because of the high demand of reloading tools, they weren't taking any custom orders at one time. That was a year or so ago. I don't know if they are or not, but that is another option. I can't remember what I paid for them, but it's more convenient and easier sometimes if you can get the size for the Lyman lubricizer. I already had that machine for years, So sometimes they're usually $40, $45. But they're in stock, like Buffalo Arms will have them in stock. So if you go with a custom bullet and a custom sizer, you're probably going to need custom reloading tools. This here is a taper crimp die for a 50-70 because most companies have a roll crimp. I wanted a taper crimp to mate up with the old bullet, so I had to get this made. Custom bullet diameter, you're going to need a custom expanding plug. This plug here is what I'm going to use to expand the neck for this bullet because it is a custom size. It's going to be a little bit larger than normal. You can buy these at Buffalo Arms, and all you would need is this is a Lyman M die. Basically all it is holds the expander. You know, the case will fit up in there. The thread, you know, they're threaded for the Lyman RCBS. And then you just get the custom, all you need is a custom plug to go in just any M die. You know, you can get these used or find these. Or say if you find one for 357 Magnum or something, or 9mm or 30-06, just pull out the plug and put in the plug you need, and you're in business. So those are some things you'll think of. Then you're going to have to make chamber castings. So what I did with chamber castings, and it's important, is the material for chamber casting melts at about 180 degrees. So this is a low temperature lead-based material. I'm going to do a separate video on this and the importance of this. And what I got is a hot plate. Bought that at Walmart for like 20 bucks. And I heat up this, I think this is a Lyman 10-pound lead pot. I just heat that up on there, melt that, and then use a ladle to get my material and do my chamber castings. The hot plate comes in handy also if you pan lube to melt your lubricant, your bullet lube down, or an old crock pot. So if you find these things like at garage sales or whatever, you know, pick them up. Start accumulating it. You probably need them. And then a good set of weld gloves, you know, when you're handling any of the casting, hot lead and stuff. Another important thing is annealing your brass. You have to figure out a way to do that. Now most people just use an electric drill motor and sockets, okay, and a propane torch. That's fine. There's several different simple methods, but I have a problem. I can't hold the drill steady and hold the torch to do that. So I got this system from Annealrite. And I'll do a separate video on setting this up and using it maybe later today. This here works pretty good for me. It's about $100 for the whole rig and all the stuff, but it works good. I'll show you how it works, and for me it saves me a lot of time, especially when you're doing like 40-50 cases. I know some people only load 10 or 20, but if you're doing a lot of cases, and I'll go into why. Annealing is kind of important when you're forming the brass because you'll work hard in it and it will crack and split. So annealing is an important step, and this is one way of doing it, short of buying an actual machine for thousands of dollars. This is not the least expensive method, but it works well for me and I like it. So that's a basic look at some of the stuff you'll have to start accumulating if you kind of get into this. You know, the calipers are a must. The case trimmer is kind of a must, you know, because that's what's going to get you to your final length and square up and true up the end, and along with the deburr tools. Those are all kind of small items. But then as you get on, you know, you might fine-tune stuff and get some custom stuff, dies, plugs, molds, and things like that. That's a pretty general idea, and like I said, you accumulate this as you go, as you need it, and then build up your tooling more or less as you go along. Okay, I hope that helps.